Hello everybody, MegaZardX here, back at it again to give y'all another very exciting collection reflection video where I take the time out to just go through my whole entire gaming library. Could be a game, could be a limited edition, could be a console, but today we're going to be talking about none other than Mario and Luigi Partners in Time. Yes, I had to pop up an image up there because I was looking for this game case and stuff right before recording. I know I have the game physical and it's in my DS collection though, but I have no idea where the heck the case went though, but I don't know though. But anyway, rest assured, Mario and Luigi Partners in Time is a very, and I would say a very unique game to the RPG genre that is Mario in general. Like you have obviously Super Mario RPG, then you had the Mario and Luigi series, and then you had the Paper Mario series. And by extension, we managed to get 3 different games in those different series, whether it be remakes, remasters, or brand new entries in the Nintendo Switch era, which actually leads to us having Mario and Luigi Brothership in nearly a few days. So I figured out I might as well go ahead and talk about one of the first Mario and Luigi games that has gotten me into the series and had me fall in love with it ever since though. So we might as well go ahead and jump up in it though. So if you hadn't already done so, make sure you're going to hit that like button, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that bell to stay up to date on all things video game related I feel like talking about and discussing. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump straight up into this video. Mario and Luigi Partners in Time. Now, I had to think back because I feel like this was like one of those first couple of games I managed to pick up when it had that original Nintendo DS, the fat version, like, you know, the traditional gray and black one. Like that was like one of the very first few games I had for my Nintendo DS. And I was going through and playing through that game and I love my experiences. At least for the most part though, because while I was going through and playing this game, don't get me wrong, it's really cool. I like having the Mario and Luigi up in there. I like having the babies and stuff, but at least when I was that young in age, those shrooms, which are like the main antagonists of the series, they terrified the mess out of me. So much so to where I started to have some like legit nightmares. And this might have been like one of the only couple of like Nintendo games that actually got me scared or at least gave me nightmares or whatever, at least when I was like that young. So much so I was like, I gave it to my brother and said, hey, look, I don't want nothing to be a part of this thing. Have at it, take it away from me. I can't deal with these nightmares no more. And then lo and behold, I guess X amount of years later, closer to probably towards the end of the DS life cycle, you know, those times were behind me. I was a little bit older and I managed to get back the game for my brother and I managed to play through it from start to finish. I was like, dang, this is a really good game. I couldn't handle it at first, but got a little bit older and I was like, all right, I'm ready to take on this challenge though, because this was actually one of my first entries into Mario and Luigi, or just Mario in general, RPGs. Like this was like the first one. I didn't play Super Mario RPG on the Super Nintendo before this. I hadn't played any of the Paper Mario games. At least at this time, there was only Paper Mario 64 and Thousand Year Door on the GameCube. I had a 64, but I didn't, you know, have that game. And I didn't have a GameCube at that point. So this was like my first entry into RPG Mario right here. And man, oh man, I love the way how the combat played. Obviously you had, you know, Mario and you had Luigi, but you didn't just have the adult forms in them. No. You also had the babies. And I think that's one of the things they capitalized pretty well on, at least within this game, is the fact that they had every one of your 4 main playable characters mapped to specific buttons. Like Mario was A, Luigi was B, Baby Mario was X, and Baby Mario was Y. So that way, at least when you're doing certain combos or certain things or action commands while in combat, you knew when you saw those certain characters which button to press. I think that's what kind of oriented me to kind of know exactly, you know, like which buttons are where on the DS, because like you had to know exactly where that at, because some of those different things you do, especially when you use certain items in combat, especially when you're kicking them shells and they're going 90 to nothing, you know you have to do like A, B, X, Y, A, B, X, Y, X, Y, B, A, X, Y, B, A. Like it went so fast in rhythm for some of those different moves. I loved the heck out of it though. And it always frustrated me when I had a really good combo going. I was like, we could have taken this longer, where it's like, hey, you can use some of those and extend how much damage you can do, especially like in boss battles. I was like, man, oh man, I just want to, you know, abuse the heck out of this system though. But I just really loved it though. But in terms of the story, obviously you had these new enemies brought into the fold called shrooms, and literally the whole concept of the game is going back and forth between present modern day and the past. Like the present modern day was kind of like just like your main hub, and all the craziness and commotion was happening in the past. And you would kind of think, it's like, wait a minute, shouldn't the things of the past actually influence the things that where you're currently at in the present though? And this is where you kind of learn about, parallel dimensions and stuff like that. Like, kind of accustomed to what you see within modern day movies or in other games and stuff like that. Like where it's like some things that happen in the past, like you think about Dragon Ball Z or whatever though, things that happen in that past timeline or by extension the future timeline could be a little bit different when you go in the past or the future respectively though. It was a weird thing to wrap your mind around though, but they were basically two different entities. Obviously you had Princess Peach at the very beginning of the game, had what was it? One of the professors going through and making a time machine though, and she wanted to try it out, went into the past and never returned. Hence because she got captured by Princess Shroom. And in the past, these shrooms invaded. They're like an alien race or whatever though, kind of similar to the Toads, but like purple with green spots all over them and such. And they just invaded over the Mushroom Kingdom, turning all the resident Toads over into like other like small little shrooms that weren't able to actually do anything or whatever though. And they basically took over the whole entire kingdom. They did something that not even Bowser himself was able to do for like all of these different games that we've been going through and playing throughout the years though. So that's just crazy in and of itself though. This one Princess Shroom took over the whole entire Mushroom Kingdom though. And obviously like the baby Mario, baby Luigi, they came victim to all of the craziness that was going down and such. And somehow one thing led to another. They happened to encounter their future older selves, and then they started going back and forth. Obviously, the older Mario and Luigi is trying to save Princess Peach, bring them back though, but while they're at it, trying to save the prior past Mushroom Kingdom for the sake of the babies and stuff. They can't do it alone. They're just a couple of pair of babies. But my gosh, you give them a couple of hammers and such, and you know what? They're on popping and kicking though, at least for the most. In terms of combat, obviously you had different items and stuff, and I already alluded to it before where you're actually able to like kick different shroom or different like shells and stuff back and forth between you and the enemies and stuff like that. You have items like that, but then even the most basic of all basic commands is just a simple jump attack button, and also the Hammer Brothers weapon as well though. So you're actually able to go back and forth doing those two different things though. And I love the synchronization where it's like, oh, you jump on the baby with Mario with, or jump on the enemy with Mario. You hit A, then he flies back. Baby Mario goes up in the air, and then you time it up with X, you can do a little bit more additional damage. Or it was either A then X or X and A. It was one way or the other though, but you get the point across. Like you can do different stylish combos between, the older pair along with the baby pair and such. So I really did love the heck out of the way how the gameplay was. There was always a lot of different unique puzzles where it's like, oh, you can separate the babies from, the adults. And each one of them had their own different pair of things that they could do. Like babies were small, so they're able to kind of get into the nooks and crannies and stuff, especially after the older brothers were able to throw them up to like higher heights and stuff. And then you had different things like where Mario and Luigi are able to do like some top spin it, like a spin tornado thing where they can kind of float across a little gap or actually drill down in the ground and travel underground and such. It made different scenarios very unique in the way how you kind of solve puzzles, because it wasn't just always about having the combat, which is also, obviously a really important, strong fact for the series though. But it was also like the way how you solve puzzles and stuff in the overworld that allow you to progress to new areas though. So you kind of had like a good, nice balance of yin and yang within this one series right here though. But the world itself, I really like how you have all these different unique characters and stuff, all these different unique bosses and stuff. Like one of the visions I remember quite vividly is when you're on that Yoshi's Island, where it's like you even had like a room version of a giant Yoshi that was going around and eating other Yoshis. I was like, the heck did that Yoshi just do? I was like, you don't see Yoshis going around, or at least a big fat one or whatever though, going around eating other Yoshis and stuff though. I was like, what the actual heck though? But I don't know. There was like a lot of cool things that are up in this game though. But I will say this, that final boss theme and stuff, you're going around and stuff, and you're going through and collecting all these cobalt stars, which you think is going to be a good way to be able to fight against Princess Shroom. But to no shock or no surprise, it's actually holding a greater threat, which happens to lead to the great, the final boss up in this game though. And man, I was struggling on that boss for the longest time. That boss is so freaking hard to beat, but whenever you do beat it, man, it feels so satisfying up in this mess. I can't say and stress that enough though, because this game isn't necessarily for the faint of heart. Like you have to know your stuff down to a T, come up with some really great items, handle the balancing and stuff, because there's nothing more annoying when you're playing as, you know, these 4 different members and stuff, and one of them dies. So then you have to pick one of them up on your back and then struggle to kind of jump and avoid the enemy's attacks and stuff, while also not trying to sustain more damage and stuff like that. And then trying to throw up 1-up mushrooms halfway across the battlefield and such to kind of revive your people, though. Man, oh man, you got to do some juggling up in this game, though. But outside of that, I thoroughly enjoyed my experience within this. And this was like the first game that got me into, you know, RPG Mario in general. Because from this, I think I went to play Super Paper Mario. And then I went back and played Superstar Saga, which was like the game that happened before this. Then I went and played Bowser's Inside Story years later on the Switch when they give us the Super Mario RPG remake. I managed to go through and play through that. I played through Paper Mario 64, at least a little bit on NSO Online. I played Thousand Year Door, the remake that released here on the Switch, though. So I've been all over the place ever since when I first started this game with Mario and Luigi Partners in Time. And lo and behold, when Alpha Dream actually died, I thought we weren't going to be able to get another new Mario and Luigi game after, what was it, Dream Team was like the last one we had back on the 3DS. And then lo and behold, we have a brand new game in the series coming out on the Nintendo Switch in a mere few days from now. And I'm like, oh, heck yes, let's run this mess back. Let's show people why we really love the Mario and Luigi series, though, because I still feel like it could still fill a void that a lot of people really love within the RPG series. I feel like you can have Super Mario series with the RPG, you can have a Mario and Luigi series, you can have a Paper Mario series, though, because each one of them offers something very different and unique on the table. Like, have you seen some of the crazy animations and stuff that we're able to do within this new Mario and Luigi game? I always want to keep calling it the Brotherhood instead of the Brothership. They should have called it the Brotherhood. I might just call it the Brotherhood up on this channel, though. But overall, I love the heck out of this series, and I really did like my times with going back and forth between the present day and the past, solving these different puzzles, going through and having all these unique different encounters with just enemies in general, as well as the different bosses up in it, though. Got me scared in the first half, I ain't gonna lie, but you know, got a little older and stuff and learned how to thoroughly enjoy this series to its best, though. But you gotta let me know down in the comment section down below what all do you think about Mario and Luigi Partners in Time. Like, obviously I can only talk about this game so much within, like, within the typical 10 to 20-ish minutes that I do these videos and such, though. But, if you have any fond memories and stuff like that about this game, some things that gave you a little bit of trouble, a boss that, might have gave you some issues, just let me know in the comment section down below. But that's going to basically do it in terms of today's video, though. So if you really like this, make sure you're going to hit that like button, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that bell to stay up to date on all things video game related I feel like talking about and discussing. So remember, y'all, until our video I make next, see y'all.